Welcome to Fort Grit Diamonds in the Rough, where we dive deep into vibrant stories of triumph in Fort Smith, in a city that demands grit. We celebrate the spirit of success against all odds. Join us as we uncover inspiring narratives, exploring the journey, the rough diamonds to gleaming success stories. Man, we are back today at Fort Grit Diamonds in the Rough with a great episode. Finally, the moment you guys have been waiting for. We got the man here in the hot seat.
You can't miss him.
You can't miss him. He's looking sharp. Like we've been trying to get this guy here for a long time, and he's finally made it today. Hey, thank you for being here, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here
Yes, sir.
today.
Yes, sir.
And first, want to say congratulations to you all
Oh, thank you.
on having such a great show and
appreciate
reaching so many
that.
people and having me here today.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
really proud of you guys.
Well, you've
And-
kind of seen it full circle because for those that don't know, before I just came on to shoot you guys when you were fitting him and everything. So I just came in here randomly and, we just all kind of started talking.
Yeah.
And that conversation, I still to this day wish we would have recorded it just because
It
it
was
was
a
so
great- it was a great day.
It was a
conversation.
great
It was a great
conversation.
day.
Yeah, and then that's when you hit me up to be on, and then
Yeah.
you were going to be our first, and I was
Yeah.
just like, but you know what? Things work the way that they're supposed to. We're here now, and I'm
And-
really ready to learn about you.
And y'all have done great.
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
It's been an uphill
Oh,
battle, but we're
and I want to thank the man for decking me out in one of his Elm Grove clothing suits.
You looking real sharp
This
over
this
there,
suit
man.
looks good, man. I appreciate it. It feels good. It looks good.
You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
I
look
I
appreciate
don't know
it.
if anybody notices, but I am not in a suit. I look like I just left a T-ball game. Okay, so you guys look great, but I had to take a step back so
You
y'all
look
can
great.
have your,
You look great
I had to step
regardless.
back so
You
y'all
don't,
could.
you don't have to have Elm Grove clothing
but
on to look
You're
great.
gonna make my
You look
tall
great
ass
regardless.
a pantsuit. I'm gonna have that. He's gonna do that for
I
me.
am going to
All
do
right,
that.
hey.
Yeah, because I think that would be dope.
I can do that for you.
Being tall, it's hard to
It's hard to
find.
find- it's hard to find
anything.
clothes.
And small, so. But I'm gonna let them have their shine over here. But I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready
ready.
to know about you. You are a dude that I don't know. There's something about I just feel like there's so many layers to you. And I'm ready to peel back those layers
Let's
for
do
sure.
it.
Let's do it.
Let's
All
do
right.
it, yeah.
Yes.
So let's start from the beginning, man. Where are you
Yeah.
from?
I'm originally from right here, Fort Smith, Arkansas. I'm excited to be home this weekend and excited to be here on this show. Born and raised here. Went to Howard Elementary School, Darby Junior High School, Northside High School, and then West Star Community College. So,
West Star.
West Star.
Yeah.
Showing
Oh,
our
excuse me.
age
University of
anymore.
Arkansas, Fort Smith.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You just showed your
Yeah,
age.
I did. I just
I
told.
still remember
I just
it as
told on
West Star.
myself.
Yeah. And how tall are you?
6'6".
6'6". Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first met him, I'm like, is this dude? I remember asking him, I was like, he an NBA basket. You just had the swag bag. You had the glasses on. Like you had the.
I know he
was
brought
like,
it all
who
in,
is
didn't
this
he?
dude? He did.
Yep,
I was
he
like,
did.
he's somebody. I don't know. So what was it
In
like?
my mind, I am.
Well, you are. No, and I think that's great because you absolutely are.
Yeah.
And
you have to think you're somebody to yourself.
You
have
do.
to be somebody within
do.
yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's something I'm learning, to be able to talk good to yourself,
That's right.
without feeling like you're bragging in a sense.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I love that about you because as confident as you are and how you carry yourself, you're very detailed from what I've seen of you the couple times I've met you.
Mm-hmm.
You're very detailed about the way you sit or how you carry yourself. But when you treat yourself like you're somebody important, you are important. People will treat you
Other
that way.
people will do
And
that.
it's not even just the way you carry yourself, but it's what you put into the universe too.
Right.
And I can't wait to get into that as well
Yes.
too. But
Yes.
so growing up, what were you in a two-parent house? What was it like? Just if you want to touch on that a little bit, growing up.
Yeah, sure. So I'm an only child, raised by my grandmother.
Okay.
She had five kids and me, the oldest grandchild. So kind of a grandma's
spoiled
boy.
rotten.
Yeah, kind of a
Yeah,
grandma's
you were.
boy. Yeah, grandma's boy. And so had a great time growing up here. I mean, an awesome time growing up here in Fort Smith. I mean, like I couldn't imagine growing up being any better. And even though we were, low income, we didn't know that. We just lived and had fun, and everything was great to us. And so I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club here in Fort Smith, Jeffrey's Boys Club, Jeffrey Glidewell Boys Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and so I always stayed busy. My grandmother kept me involved in different things. Always was involved in sports. I've always played sports. She made sure she always kept me busy. always kept me busy and doing things, and so I was always being involved in different things in different sports until I figured out what I actually really liked and wanted to be a part of. And so basketball, football, and track were the main things I did. I was also in band. I was a band kid.
Really?
Yeah.
What instrument did you play?
I was a snare. Played the snare drum from 7th through 9th grade.
That's
Okay.
dope.
Yeah, first chair snare.
Oh,
first
First chair snare.
First
Yeah.
chair.
I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So growing up, did you have, kind of any access to your parents, or was it just you and your grandmother?
Pretty much just me and my grandmother. My mother was there.
Okay.
But my mother had me young. My mother had me when she was 17.
Wow,
So she
yeah.
was a young parent,
Yeah.
young mom, and so grandmas.
They're the best.
Yeah, they are.
I had my daughter at 17, and I will say to this day, if it wasn't for her grandparents, I don't know my daughter would be as good as she is.
Right.
It takes a village, and my
does.
grandma raised me, and now I'm taking care of her, and gladly taking care of her, because
Right.
that woman deserves it, and I think that's
Yeah.
amazing, for sure. And so growing up playing sports, tell us about when you kind of realized, like, man, basketball's kind of like, I mean, you're tall. I mean,
Yeah.
so everyone wants their son to be 6'7" and athletic and all that stuff. So when did basketball really play that big role in your life?
I've been this height, 6'6", since the 8th grade.
Wow.
And so I've always been the tallest. I mean, I
Yeah.
could dunk. I first started dunking in the 8th grade, and so
Damn.
a lot of people would come to the games just to watch me dunk in warm-ups because, I was young. I didn't have the skills to figure out how to get by guys and go dunk on them.
Yeah.
But, in the warm-ups, I'll give you a little show. So I've been this height since the 8th grade. Wasn't very coordinated in the beginning.
Yeah,
Just
being tall.
tall with
yeah,
big feet.
Yeah.
And then in 9th grade, I started to get a little bit better with my coordination. And then when I got to high school, I started varsity as a sophomore. So I started all 3 years at Northside. And so I had a lot of guys from Fort Smith that I looked up to and wanted to mimic my games around, so I just would watch other guys, older guys, want to be like them, and just start to hone my own skills. So so from the 8th grade on up, I think, but high school is when it started to really click in and kick.
Was your growing up and kind of being a teenager, in the household, and you were were you the only kid in the household?
No, it was myself, and like I said, my grandmother's children, my
Okay,
aunts
okay,
and
so you were
uncles, right? And then I had cousins around that was there as well.
So you kind of had a big family.
Right,
Yeah.
big family under one roof,
Yeah.
on 10th Street, right next door to the World Burger Drive-In.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Remember that one?
Okay. And it seems like you did have, like, even though, traditionally the mom, the dad, how it goes. I remember growing up, and we were a low income household too, but looking back on it, we were so happy, man. We were so happy.
That's it.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That's it.
we would get on our bikes and not
Right.
worry about
It was
anything
the simple
Right.
throughout the
things.
day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we would get $10 to go have a snow cone, but that was supposed to last us all week, so we had to make sure we had to plan it,
Yeah.
or things
Yeah.
like that, and that was always the best. But sports for me was an outlet for my mental health and
Exactly.
for where I channeled my issues I had, and that was what kept me structured. Did you look at it that way? Did you look at the boys club, the coaches, as almost a father figure to you?
Yes, I did. Pretty much in every setting, Boys and Girls Club or school settings, I looked up to coaches and counselors and different things like that. Because I grew up in a house with no male figures in the house. And so I always looked up to coaches and respected them, and like counselors and staff at the Boys and Girls Club. I always looked up and respected them.
I love that.
Yeah, I did.
I think the boys club locally is such a huge thing for us. I know with my son, his father was in prison, and so I remember going to the boys club and pretending he was 6 instead of, he was actually 4, because he wasn't old enough to actually be there, but I didn't have a way to pick him up after school, and I needed the bus. And I'm like, do y'all ask for birth certificates? And they're like, no. I'm like, he's 6 years old. We'll see you tomorrow. And
sign
I
him
just
up.
told my son, I was like, buck up, dude. Like,
Right.
you've got to do
Yeah.
this. And they just took him under, and I really firmly believe that they are such a huge asset to my son being the teenager that he is, because they knew our situation,
Right.
and they just looked out for it. And he never really lacked not having a dad there, because he had the coaches, he had
Right.
the and
Right.
that is,
Yeah.
I don't think people really realize it goes beyond just being a babysitter for your kid or a place. It's so deep.
It
you
is.
know?
It is. And some people really look at it like that don't know
Yeah.
and think that it's just a babysitting type of place.
Yeah,
But
and it's not.
It's not. No, it's not.
And
No.
I commend all those guys that put their time, because it gets crazy up in there sometimes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
up in there. And so when you're playing sports and stuff, take us through high school. What did your high school look like for you?
And this is one of the things I love about growing up here in Fort Smith and going to high school at Northside High School. It was so diverse.
Yeah.
You know, it was so diverse, and I didn't realize what it was doing for me at the time that I was in that time frame. You know, I'm just going to school and everything's great, but the diversity of it, you know, having African Americans, whites, Asians, and all different other cultures, all in the same school.
Yeah.
Under the same roof, and everybody got along.
What was the predominant race at that time?
Caucasian was the predominant race at Northside, and then African American. Then went different eras from there, but it was so cool, and I didn't realize how cool it was until I got older, and I started traveling, playing professional basketball. It's like I've already been groomed for this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to being around different cultures
Yeah.
and different people, and didn't even realize what was going on until later in life. But no, growing up and going to Northside High School was really, really cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It really
before we
was.
move on to the college and life as an adult, if there's anything you could say to anybody listening that's in high school right now, what would be some advice you have for them being an athlete in high school, and something that you kind of took away that you didn't learn till later? I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
I already know how I'm going to answer this.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what
no,
didn't
yeah.
click for you until later? Be like, man,
Academics.
how
Academics.
important it is.
Man, academics. So I was at the time, my senior year, considered one of the number one players in the state of Arkansas, if not the number one player. And so I had a lot of universities coming to see me and recruiting me. And so I couldn't go there because I didn't have a 2.0 GPA coming out of high school.
Wow.
A
2.0.
2.0.
All I had to have was a 2.0.
Wow.
I actually passed the ACT test.
Really?
Yep, I passed the ACT test and didn't have a 2.0 in my core curricular classes. I had a
Wow.
1.87 GPA.
Oh, you almost there.
So what that tells you is I went to every class and sat in the back of the room and went to sleep and dreamed about the basketball game that was going to happen tonight
that's
and how I was
right.
going to dunk on somebody. So academics.
Okay, so that's to
Academics.
touch on that, because I do remember being in school, and if you were an athlete and you were good, you were going to get through.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were. But looking back, I didn't care about sports because I knew I was going to play or whatever. So did you struggle academically, or you just knew that you just wanted to play ball and you were just
I
there
didn't.
to
I didn't
be
even
there?
try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never. I didn't really try. I didn't try.
Right.
You know, I just went to class. You know, we had to turn in certain homeworks. I did that. I did the bare minimum of minimum.
Right.
So I
Right.
didn't try.
Yeah.
You know, and if I would have gave some effort, I could have.
Right.
Who knows how well I could have done if I actually gave some effort.
Right.
Yeah, but academics, take care of the academics, and I think that's
The main
that'd be
thing.
the
yeah.
main thing.
Well, now you see, like, there's this place called D-Bat here locally. It's a really dope indoor batting cages. But they have this huge sign that shows you percentage of GPA versus your percentage of recruitment. And where you're going to be at if your GPA's here, this is the percentage of recruitment you will see. And it goes on, so on, so forth. And they have it plastered up, which I think's great, because back then it was very much, well, you knew the athletes that were going to get passed because the coach, that's how it was.
Yeah.
But now I think they are shifting a lot more towards focusing on academics, and
academics.
sports, which is great, because you're not going to be an athlete your whole life.
No.
You're not. One day
true.
it's going to end and it's going to be over. So diving into your sports career, because I think that kind of led you into where your path in life now. When did you start getting the attention, people hearing about you? You're this tall kid, when did all that kind of come into play for you? Take us through that journey of being this like superstar.
So
Superstar 8th grade dunking on them.
so I was tall, young, so of course everybody's gonna hear about this tall kid, especially
Yeah.
from this area. There's not a lot of 6'6" 8th graders.
Right.
So everybody thought, oh, this kid's gonna be 7 foot. He's already 6'6" in the 8th grade. This kid, I didn't grow anymore.
Oh, you peaked at
I
7
peaked-
foot
yes,
2.
I-
Damn
yeah,
it!
right. I peaked.
God,
I peaked
genetics.
early. I peaked early.
You peaked at 7 foot.
Yeah.
Damn. Hate that for you.
I think playing AAU basketball was the first team that probably got me exposure.
AAU. I do.
AAU
yeah.
basketball. Remember AAU?
I do. I remember there was like one team when I played ball that was big, and I can't Sleepers or something like that. And
Yeah, the Sleepers. I've heard of
Sleepers,
them.
yeah.
Yep, I've heard of
So, which is expensive to play. I know it's a lot more expensive now, but I don't know what. And so, when you come from being raised by your grandmother, you know, being able to afford putting you through these travel teams, travel, food, and all that, how did they manage that for you? Did she just knew you had a thing and she was going to do whatever she could to get you there?
Well, she did, and I'm going to go back. I skipped a phase, but I'm going to go back in a minute about all the jobs I've had over the summer.
Okay.
But because I was 6'6" in the 8th grade, I didn't have to pay for anything.
Gotcha. They knew you were
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, they knew I was a low income kid, and so a lot of times, if teams wanted me to play for them, they would fit the bill for things that we needed.
Gotcha.
And the first team I played on was the Arkansas Kings,
Okay.
which is a team that I played on with Eric Burnett.
Coach Burnett.
Yeah, Coach Burnett. Yeah,
he was
yeah.
coaching when I was in school.
Yeah. So he and I were we went to play for the Arkansas Kings in Fayetteville. And so they came and saw us playing. Hey, you want to come play? So he and I got together. Like, yeah, let's go. Man.
Y'all are both quite similar. Like now that I look at you, I'm like, wow.
No,
y'all two are both very similar.
that was my basketball partner in crime. We were
that makes sense.
We were a dynamic duo in high school together.
Wow, yeah.
And I respect the heck out of him. I saw him yesterday. Actually, he came down to the event that I had.
Oh, did he?
To see me, yeah. And so we went and played for the Wings. They fit the bill for us. Like I said, Eric's from Elm Grove. We've known each other. We've known each other since Elm Grove Project.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And so the teams would cover things for you
Gotcha.
and pay for
Okay.
things. And I later left the Kings and went to play for a team in Little Rock, the Arkansas Wings, which they would send a car to pick me up every
Kings of the
weekend
Wings.
and drive me
Yeah.
down. So.
Yeah,
Wow. So tell us about these jobs. Did you work a lot as a young
Oh,
kid? Did you always been a hustler like this?
Yes. Oh, I'm excited to tell you about it. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I just think that now generation needs to hear that what they see isn't always what's there.
There's a story.
And there's a story, and that's really what I'm trying to get to with you is your story of the knit, the grit, the hustle behind it, because everything we're hearing, it sounds great and everything was great, but I
what's
know
the
you had
story?
some hardships. But what's your story?
Right,
What is
right.
your story?
Right. Well, so going back to Howard Elementary School, so in the 4th grade, we used to have fundraisers to raise money, and we used to sell these chocolate bars. It was the world's finest chocolate bar.
Oh, they still do.
And they're smaller now.
Yeah,
they're smaller
Yeah,
now.
they're smaller.
So
and they melt so fast.
yes. So I raised my hand to sell those, and because I was raised by my grandmother would go to sleep sometimes early, so I could maneuver and didn't have to be home as early as some of the other kids.
Yeah.
But I would go door to door, grocery store to grocery store, fire station to wherever, selling that candy. So I was the #1 candy salesman of World's Finest Chocolate in the 4th grade.
What?
So we had an
Okay.
awards assembly at the end of the school year, and so they call you in front of all the kids in the auditorium, and
Yeah.
I won a brand new shiny bicycle and brand new posters. And so at the end of school, all these kids are following me home, pushing my brand new bicycle. So then in the 5th grade, the next year, I was the #1 candy salesman again. So back to me being a hustler thing. I mean, I got out. Like, most kids will take the candy home and their parents will take it to work and sell
Right,
it for them.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that case with me.
No, you ain't
Yeah.
doing
No. I went door to door with that candy. And #1 candy salesman in the 5th grade, they would not let me sell it in the 6th grade because they wanted someone else to experience winning.
Because you kept taking it.
Right. I mean, I was a little disappointed
like,
because
step up
I'm
your
going to
game,
win,
yeah.
but I understood it.
Yeah.
I understood it.
Yeah.
And so that was in elementary. So then I get to junior high at Darby. So I'm going to school and I need a job. So I started working at Taliano's Italian restaurant.
Italiano.
Wow.
That,
Okay, wow.
that was my first
Wow.
real job.
Yeah.
And I was a kitchen boy and dishwasher. I believe minimum wage at that time was probably like $3.25.
Yeah.
So I would work for
Was it still in that house?
same
the older
location.
house?
Yeah. The Caldereras and the Cadellis.
Wow.
And I'm grateful to them. Still friends with a lot of them to this day. But they gave me a job. I worked 4 nights a week. I would bring home $66 $72 a week. That was big money to me.
Yeah,
Well,
back
yeah.
then,
Yeah, I mean,
because
I was
because you're young,
I was
yeah,
I was the
yeah.
money man.
Yeah.
And so I went to work for mine, and that's how I bought a lot of my school clothes and things like that.
So you dressing sharp, weren't you?
Well, I mean, I would order my clothes from JCPenney catalog.
Yes, you are.
The thick catalog.
happening here. I live for it.
The thick
The
catalog.
J.C. Penney's catalog, you'd circle,
Yes,
fold the
yeah,
corner
yes.
of the page, and be like, okay, this is what I want. I love it. Okay.
And so when your things came in, you would go out there and you would pick them up
Yeah.
at the JCPenney's
Yeah.
counter. So,
Yeah.
and that's how I started buying my school clothes because I'm raised by my grandmother, and I'm a big kid as well. I wore size 14 shoes.
I was about
then.
to say, you weren't,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and so things were tough, and so I learned to work for mine. I learned to work for mine, and so I worked all through high school. Every summer I had a job. I've worked at every restaurant probably here in Fort Smith.
No shit.
And
Oh,
I do
man.
believe,
Straight
and
up.
if there's any kid that's watching, I think, and you can agree, I'm interested to hear your take on this. I think everybody should work in a restaurant capacity at least once in their life.
It's a fast pace, hustle and bustle.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's moving. It's rough.
And
it's
people.
hot. It's people.
It's there's nothing people get more hot over than restaurant. I mean, and if you can deal with people in a restaurant capacity,
Then you can deal anywhere.
You're good.
Yes, you
yeah.
can deal
Yeah.
anywhere. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that all
And you're
of those
never
jobs.
too good to clean dishes.
No,
Never too good.
No, I remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, I enjoyed it, and like I said, I actually had fun with it. I mean, I rode my bike, parked my bike under the stairs
Yeah.
at the end of the night. And I remember Tom coming in and looking at the watch. Oh, it's 10:15. You got school tomorrow. You got to hurry and get out of here.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
they would make sure
Did
I'd
they
get
treat
in.
you like a kid? Because what I'm visualizing in the setting that what I'm seeing, because I'm as you're telling the story, I'm visualizing what it looked like in my head, and being tall and all this, and how you're carrying yourself. You're not an average kid in junior high, like you're not an average teenager.
No.
So are they treating you like an adult? Are they also still kind of giving you that family support that you need as a teenager? But I mean,
It was a mixture of both
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I had a job to do
Yeah.
when I came, but I was also the same age as some of their kids,
right? Okay.
and I
okay.
actually wound up playing basketball on the team with Tommy Calderera.
Okay.
He was on our high school basketball team.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm working there, and his family owns it, and
Yeah.
but we're the same age.
Yeah.
And no, they treated me so nice.
I love
They
that.
treated me so nice.
That's good.
Yeah, I respect them a lot.
I love that.
Yeah.
And was your personality the same as it is now?
I'm the same.
Like,
same-
were you know how sometimes you can say I was a little bit more
No,
quiet? Are you still the same?
No,
were you
I've
still the
always
same?
been outgoing. Dancing, pop locking, beatboxing.
Oh, you popping
Yeah.
locking?
Oh yeah. You want to battle?
Go ahead. I want you to battle.
Me,
You
hey.
come from a music family. Let's go.
I do. Hey,
And you're musically
remember that
inclined?
movie called Breaking?
Yeah.
With Turbo and
Yeah, I
Ozone?
wanted to audition for that.
What?
Yeah, I wanted to audition bad for that. Yeah, I thought I
Bro.
could take Turbo.
I still watch that movie
He
to this
said I
day.
could take
I still watch that movie.
Yeah, no, I wanted to that one and Beach Street.
Beach Street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the old
yeah.
movies, man.
I love it.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So you start your working and kind of getting your grit. Where from the restaurant job, where did things? Because I mean, essentially, you're an athlete, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
your first foremost. Is you're in your head, you're going to the league. Is that where you're
That's
thinking?
exactly what
You're
it
headed
is.
there,
Yeah,
right?
every young athlete
That's where you're going,
that's
right.
halfway good.
Yeah.
You think that's where you're going.
Right, right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot for the stars. But no, yeah, in my mind, I'm gonna keep playing basketball. I'm gonna go to NBA and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff.
So we were working at the restaurant. Take us from that point of your
Mm-hmm. So
working
that's
and your
junior
work
high.
ethic.
So I worked at Whirlpool. I've worked at Hardee's. I worked at Miss Laura's restaurant downtown. The hotel downtown. When they first opened, it was called the Plaza Hotel.
Yeah.
It's the hotel right across the street from Prohibition.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I worked there when I was 16 when they first opened that. I worked in banquets and housing. I worked at Fort Smith Rim and Bow, which is it's a wood manufacturing company, but it's hard, hot work outside. And we're just running wood through this machine all summer long,
Yeah.
out in the heat. And so I worked there until I was able to buy my first nice 10-speed.
Oh, you're
12 speed, excuse me. I was able to buy my first 12 speed, and it was a Schwinn,
A
Schwinn.
Schwinn,
Yeah, it was a
right,
Schwinn,
yeah.
yeah.
Schwinn,
So
yeah.
those were
I had a
expensive.
swing.
That was like the elites of
Yeah.
all that, and then it became like mongoose later
Yeah.
on. But yeah, like oh wow.
So
Did you contribute to any bills at home, or did your grandma just give you free reign to be like, I'll take care of here, but
No, my grandmother gave me free reign to
Do
as
what you
long as
need
I
to
was
do.
working, having a
Yeah.
job, she was happy.
She was
Right.
good.
As long as I was a part of something, doing something, she knew where I was.
Yeah.
She
She
was
knew you
good.
weren't in the streets.
What's up?
Right. Yeah. right.
Why? So, can we touch on that for
Yes,
a minute?
yes.
Growing up, and obviously, we've had several guests and that have grew up, with low income, and I mean, me too as well. And
Yeah.
what took you away from making that one decision? Were you ever, did that ever kind of come around you? Were you around it? Kind of like the gang life, the drug life, hustling. Because I mean, you honestly, like with your personality and how you could sell ice to an Eskimo level, and like we were talking, Cheney, like
Yeah,
he
It's the same
reminds me
way.
of the same
Yeah.
thing. What made you not go that route? Did you?
I've been around
Yeah,
that route.
yeah,
I've seen that route. I've lived in that route. I mean, so where we lived on 10th Street, we lived directly across the street from a club called the 808 Club. Like if you step onto my front porch, we lived on a one-way street. So if you step onto the front porch, you're directly on the porch in front of one of the hottest nightclubs in town, just by sitting on your porch.
Wow.
So I'm basically sitting on my porch at the club every night.
yeah.
And all drama that happens. I mean, literally
Yeah.
You seen it
across
all.
the street.
Yeah.
So that's 10th Street. Well, around the corner, there's an area called 9th Street. The 9th Street Lounge, they call it the Block. So that was like 2 blocks from me, but 1 street behind me. So a lot of things happened there. A lot of things happened there. So, no, I was around everything. I've seen it all.
Right.
Yeah.
So what made you decide that wasn't the life for you?
Well, I had to do what I needed to do to continue playing basketball.
So
Yeah.
you think
Basketball is
saved
what
you.
kept me.
Gotcha.
No, basketball did.
Okay.
Basketball and my grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't serve both.
No.
You know, you're either gonna be a basketball player or you're gonna be a hustler or a person in the streets doing whatever. So basketball kept me away from those things.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, I could see with the attention you're getting from basketball being in your structure and you're just this kid kind of, how I could see where people would be jealous of that because you're kind of raised in the same dynamic as these kids and I could see where they could, would want to take that from you in a sense, like kind of take you under and be like, no, you just come hang out with us or anything. Were you always kind of on your own like, no, like I'm not doing that. This isn't the life I want,
It was presented to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things were presented to me. I mean, I've had guns pointed to my head. I mean, I've seen a lot, done it all, but like I said, it's the basketball piece.
I love that.
Yeah.
Basketball. It was always basketball. I mean, basketball. And so anything that would jeopardize anything for me not being able to play basketball, I got to go a different
I love
direction.
that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
that. Because that's very rare. But do you see more now? Like now, it seems like these athletes kind of feel like they can do both. Because I've seen a lot of talented people bring a club and a nightclub, like just stupid shit like that, And it's just like, for you to be so young and to know like, this is my goal to be so structured and knowing what your path is.
Right.
That says a lot about you.
Well, I've always considered myself tough.
Yeah.
I mean, not tough as I'm going to go around and tough people, but
Right.
I always consider myself a tough guy.
Right.
And so and a lot of those cats you see doing that, they're trying to prove something that they're really not.
That part.
They're trying to be something that they're not. I mean, be a basketball player if that's what you are. I don't have to be a basketball player and I'm about guns and I'm this and I'm that. Just be who you are.
I love
Right.
that.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
I love that.
Yeah, you don't have to prove and show to everybody I'm hard just because.
No, you don't.
Just be a basketball
I
player,
mean,
or just whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
You're right. So it's kind of like you see like a lot of peer pressure like nowadays with young people, and again it's because they're trying to prove something they're not.
Right.
And it's kind of like the only proof you have to prove is to yourself.
That's it. That's it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
And,
so-
oh yeah, I agree. And I think if once you believe it, everyone else will have to believe it too.
Right.
And it's hard to learn that. You know, there's so much that goes into that. But so going into high school, take us through graduation. Where does your life take you there from graduation to basketball? And now you're an adult. Real
So-
life decisions are happening. Where are
Right.
we at?
So I graduated high school. I'm knowing that I can't go to the University of Arkansas. I can't go to Louisville. Or I can't go to some of the places I really wanted to go to
Why is
because
that?
I didn't have the grades. So now I have to go to, University of Arkansas, Fort Smith, formerly known as West Stark, formerly known as West Stark Community College. So
I love it. It still will always be Western. Just like Sparks will always be, or St. Edwards will always be.
No, Sparks, you're right, Sparks.
Yeah, and so it's like when you, I get it. Yeah, so we call it West Star because that's where you went.
Yeah,
But
that's the foundation.
I remember going to a basketball camp at West Stark when the basketball gym was that real small one in the corner over there.
That's the
I
one,
guess that was
the one I played in. Yeah, that was the main gym.
Yeah, that was the main gym.
Yeah.
That's why I played ball there. Yeah, that's too funny.
So I have to go to junior college because my grades aren't right. So I have the opportunity. I have the choice to be able to go to any junior college in America, basically. And after shopping around and flying around these different junior colleges that wanted me to play for them, I decided, you know what? West Stark's a top-notch junior college. I mean, they win, and they put guys into they put a lot of guys into Division I level. Yeah. So I decided to stay at home. But what I wasn't going to do is live on campus in the dormitories. Right. So if you want me to come play for you, I get to live at home. And I did that on purpose because I knew if I lived at home, I had free reign and no curfew.
Gotcha. I thought you were like, I gotta be with my grandmother.
I like that.
Okay. You are smart.
Yeah, I don't have a curfew.
But did that benefit you in the long run?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
How old was your grandmother at this time when you got into college?
You know, it's funny. My grandmother was in her she's in her 50s. Yeah, she's in her 50s. You know,
when your mom was 17. Right, my mom was like 35 when I had my daughter. You know,
but when you're younger, you don't really pay that any attention. I didn't, because now that, you know, I'm older, it's like, she really wasn't as old as I thought she was.
Right, right.
But we just look at them like, you know,
like
they're older.
Yeah,
but they're something. Because
really 30 at that age seems like ancient, you know. But now, because my daughter, she's almost 18, and my mom is almost 60. But like, my mom, but she doesn't act like her. She's wilder than all get out. But
got a lot of energy.
Yeah, but I was 17 when I had my daughter, and I don't think of her as a grandma because she was so young when she was a grandma. But it'd be like me having a grandkid right now. Yeah. So her staying with you, is she still supporting the household, like still pushing you to do the right things? With all this attention, is your family kind of coming out the woodwork a little bit now?
No, it was it wasn't really like that.
You know how some people do be coming out when they see, like, you know, my kid's doing this and stuff.
No, it was I made our family proud.
Of course.
Yeah, I made our family proud. We had some athletes in the family before me, and particularly my aunt, who played basketball, Irene Holloman, was an all-state point guard. Wow. And was just an excellent gymnast, dancer, braided hair. Yeah. So so having people in our family that were good in athletics and things like that wasn't new when I came. Right. Because of her. But no, it was a lot of support from my grandmother. Actually, even more support, because now the goal is to get your grades up in community college to get the D1 scholarship.
Yeah. And so take us through that journey.
Oh, wow. So my first year, I still hadn't woke up yet as far as the academics. I believe after the first semester at West Stark, I think I had failed all my classes. No, in the spring, after my freshman year. And so I had to take summer school all summer to be able to make up the grades and things like that. And big ups to Doc Sadler.
Doc Sadler.
Doc Sadler, yeah.
Remind me of that name sounds so familiar.
He's from here. He's been in coaching for years.
Okay.
I think this past year he was coaching at University of Kansas.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
Yeah, but he's a great guy. But he's the first one to recruit me. But he pushed me to get those grades up that summer. I mean, he stayed on me very hard, and I'm very thankful for him for doing that. And so do that, come back to sophomore year, got my grades together, and I signed with Oklahoma State University to play basketball. Okay. So I made it. I made it D1. I made it.
That's amazing. So what did that look like for you?
Well,
because you know, what is the average of actual athletes making it to D1? Do you know the national average? Or like, how many? Probably
4%. I mean, it's a small percentage. It's a super small percentage that make it.
Right.
But I made it. I went there. Things didn't quite work out for me the way I planned basketball wise. Yeah. And so I left there, and I had 1 year left. See, now they can hop in the transfer portal and get paid big money to play. But
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they pay these guys great money. I mean, I'm happy for them.
Yeah, it is.
I'm happy for them, but it is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is kind of crazy. I mean, you got guys in college now making $300,000-$400,000.
It's crazy.
And guys
Yeah.
even making more than that.
Yeah.
Oh
it's-
yeah, well, we got that one kid that's playing Arkansas football. I'm really good friends with his family, and I think he just bought himself a brand new jacked up truck. And they're like, well, he's making thousands a month, and everything he has up there is paid for because he's playing, football. He's
Yeah.
everything's he's taken care of, and all this
Yeah.
money that he's doing commercials for these businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah. In college.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like, the downside of that. So I know how I was at that age. More money, more problems. You know what I'm saying? And I'd have been in these streets.
And they're young.
With money.
And they're young.
And they're
Yeah, they're
young.
young.
Like how many of these kids get this much attention, this much money, that are going to stay focused,
Right.
say basketball,
Yeah,
basketball,
because,
football,
like,
football,
There's a price to pay.
and not
right.
mess it up. Like I feel like it's a double-edged sword.
I can't imagine how they're doing it. I mean, it's
I just, oh,
It's
that's
tough.
tough.
It's tough.
That's tough.
It
If
is.
you had given me money at that age, whoo. I don't think I'd have lasted a year playing ball.
you got to
I
make sure
wouldn't.
you got the right support behind you to keep you grounded. You know, and I know I've got some buddies that have sons that play college basketball, and they're very much involved in what's going on
Yeah.
with these guys because,
Yeah.
like you said, it can
Yeah.
get crazy out here.
Yeah, yeah. Wrong people attached to you for the wrong reasons, you know, when it comes to money and attention. And you're young, so you think you got all these friends and all this stuff. And I can't even imagine. I can't. So after that, you where did you go after you decided that wasn't for you?
City University.
Okay.
Oklahoma City University. I played 1 year there, and I had a ball. I mean, I got to play and let my game loose and get back focused on basketball. And after that, I went and played 7 years professionally overseas.
So what was that like overseas? Today's episode wouldn't be possible without one of our amazing sponsors, Franklin for Life, a trucking company steering you towards success. You want to get a hold of them? No problem. 479-384-1586. Thank you, Franklin for Life.
Ah,
Yeah, like, how is that? Like,
Yeah.
Like,
what was
Paint
that?
that picture
What was
for
that
us.
like? Let me see.
That's not a lot of, like, you don't hear that. I mean, I know there's maybe one other person I know that played a little bit, but never for like a
Overseas?
7-year stretch, you know?
No.
But what did that look like for you as an athlete? You're this, low income, like when people are like, "Where's Binky? Man, he's over here playing." Like that's
Yeah, that's
when
how
you
it
hear
was.
that, you're like, "Dude's made it. Like this dude is really doing something."
It was fun, a lot of fun, and stressful at the same time. So I played in France 2 different years. I played in Switzerland, Neuchâtel, Switzerland. Played in Turkey. Played in Argentina.
So awesome.
Played in
Man, that's so
Taiwan.
badass.
so you seen all those
Played in
places.
China. Played in tournaments in Indonesia.
Where was your favorite place to play? What was your favorite place to go?
Buenos Aires, Argentina. It was a great place, and probably Switzerland.
Really? Why?
Yeah, probably Switzerland. Just the way the people, the people were great everywhere I went.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the people were great. I mean, they treated me great in France. They treated me great in Turkey.
I've always heard that y'all are treated
Taiwan.
like it's like y'all are celebrities.
They
over there.
treat
I've
you.
always
They
heard
treat
that.
you nice, but the stressful side of that is a lot of guys are trying to make it to the NBA, which there's thousands of players trying to get these few slots on
Yeah.
NBA rosters. So if you can't do that, then you try to go overseas and play ball and make money and keep your game sharp, and maybe you can still get back to the NBA.
Right.
But there's so many guys that didn't make the NBA. The list is way longer that didn't make it to the NBA.
Yeah.
So you're competing with these other guys that played at these other universities that have big time names and big time games. And so, the staying in shape and the stress of waiting on your agent to call you with that job for you to leave, and sometimes that phone call doesn't come when you want it to come. And so, a season may have already started in August overseas. So here it is October. Well, the season started in August, October. You ain't got your phone hadn't rung yet, and so it's just a lot of stress. But you have to continue staying in shape.
Yes. Yeah.
So when the phone does ring, you're ready.
You ready? Right.
You're right. So just the stress of
can see
competing
that.
with
Yeah.
other guys to get those jobs and staying in shape when the job does come, it can be stressful.
Did you miss your family back home?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, always. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Stay in touch. Of course, wrote at that time. You
Wrote a
could
letter.
you could just pick up your cell phone.
Right, 'cause
Yeah, no.
wasn't it so
yeah, no.
expensive to
I
call
wrote a
from-
letter, and then those phone calls
Yeah.
were expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
way expensive. So, I didn't talk to them as much because like I said, the phone calls were crazy expensive, and then
But they knew you were straight.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
They knew you
yeah,
were.
they weren't worried about me.
So when you decided to leave, what did that look like? Because I've always been told, so, you know, playing sports your whole life and then it's over. You know, my cousin played D1 and she graduated and that's it. That, I mean, as a woman, there's not a whole lot to, you know, it's like you're done. And you've been told your whole life what time to be somewhere, how to do something. You always had somebody telling you every day how to do something, where to be. You've had structure. Sports is over. It's all on you.
Right.
What did that look like for you?
It's tough, but I remember coming home one summer. I think it was the summer after I came back from Switzerland, and so I came back and I was able to take care of my grandmother, and you know she was good. I could financially take care of her and help her. I'm good, you know. And she came out on the porch and sat down next to me. And she said, you know, there's more to you than just basketball. So I'm thinking in my mind, what's she tripping on?
Yeah, I am basketball.
I am
Yeah.
basketball. What are you talking about? You know,
Yeah.
yeah. And so what's wrong? She wanted me to go back to school. Because she knew I had the drive and the passion. She saw how much energy and how much work I put into basketball.
Yeah.
So she's thinking if I put that same energy in academics, that I could do great things. So I came back and went to school. I went back to school at the age of 30.
Wow.
So after I finished playing, I came back at the age of 30. So I sat in the classroom with, you know, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Here I am, 32 years old. But it took me
And
two...
you don't just blend in.
No,
you know.
no. So it took me 2 years
Yeah.
to graduate with my
Yeah.
bachelor's. Like I said, I came back at 30, graduated at 32. And so when I did that, Oklahoma City University asked me if I wanted a job. They needed someone to run the boys' dormitory or the men's dormitory. They had always had house moms that ran these dormitories, is what they called them back then.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like the first house dad
That's
I
dope.
love that.
on campus,
I like
and so
that.
it went really well, and they were excited, and so they asked me if I wanted to take on Intramural Sports and Recreation, be the Intramural Sports and Recreations director.
Wow.
Yeah, more money? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. And so at the time when they first asked me to do the dormitory job, I lived on campus. So I had a small apartment. I got to eat for free on campus, and I'm locked in. I'm embedded into the community.
Yeah.
So that happened. I took the Intramural Sports and Recreation job the next year. Then they asked me to run the fitness center. So I was the director of the fitness center and Intramural Sports and Recreation. And we wound up building a brand new facility, $22 million facility. They asked me if I would run the facility.
Yeah.
Right. So with each thing that they're asking me to do comes a pay bump, a pay grade bump.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. And so I stayed there from 2002 to 2012, and
Wow.
then to rewind, I went back to school and got my master's. So after I got the bachelor's in 32, I said, you know what, this is kind of cool. My grandmother's right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
If I put the
Yeah.
energy into this, I can do it.
That's real
so
cool.
I went and got a master's. So I graduated
Yeah.
with my master's at 34.
In what? What was your degree?
My first one was in education. My
Okay.
second was in education.
So at this time, are you married? Are you single? What did that? Are you just a bachelor out here just figuring out at this time? I mean,
Pretty, yeah,
Yeah?
pretty much, yeah. I have a son who's 35. I have
Okay.
a daughter who's 33. So
Okay.
I have two children. I was dating, but I wasn't married at all.
Gotcha.
so with kids, I bet that was. I mean, but the reason why I ask is just because when you're single, it seems to be easier. But sometimes when you have dependents and you're married, you know, you got all this life stuff going, you know. So I didn't know if you were married or single or what that, you know, dynamic looked like because
Right.
it's basketball. But
Right.
you know, there's family that go into it and stuff as well too. But you know, you can do it if you're single, and you can do it if you're married. You can do it if you have kids, and you can do it if you don't have kids.
Well, I was single at the time, was dating, and I wound up moving my son to Oklahoma City with me in that process, in the middle of that process,
Yeah.
to Oklahoma City from Fort Smith with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this job, and you got hired to work. What did you stay there for? You said you were there for how long?
10 years. I worked there for 10
10
years. So
years.
from 2002 to 2012.
Yeah.
I worked there, and I made it all the way to assistant dean of students
Wow.
from
Damn.
just starting in the dormitory.
Assistant dean of students. That's nice, man.
Yeah.
I bet they loved you.
I have fun.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have fun. I have fun.
So,
yeah.
so like let's back. I'm sorry. So you said you got your master's degree, and then you said earlier, like when we were talking to you, like in high school, how like school just wasn't your thing as
Right.
far as the grades. So being that you went back at age 30 and did it, you think it was easier to focus then?
Oh, that's a great question.
You know what
That
I'm
is
saying?
a great
great
question.
question.
Because people it's kind of like you're young and you're in school and you're not liking it, and people always say that if you go back at an older age that things are a little bit easier because you're not focused on like trying to like dress and style, and you're just worried about that main thing, trying to get that paper.
Like if I went back to school at the drive I have now,
Yeah.
I could accomplish it. I'm just not smart enough. Like I just feel like it's, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
just, if I had the drive I have now, then, oh shit.
So
It'd be
I'd be
incredible.
too rich
It'd
to
be
be-
incredible.
it'd been-
It'd be
yeah.
incredible.
you think it was easy for you like when you went back?
Great question.
No, it definitely was, because when you're young, you're just young. But now I'm an adult man. I need this degree. So now I'm coming in, I'm sitting in there tuned in with my notepad to the professor.
Yeah.
And if I hear some 19-year-olds behind me talking, I'll turn around and look at them like, he's talking.
I like
I need this. I gotta have it. So there is more drive, I believe, when you're older. And like I said, I had two small children, so I needed a jobby. I needed a jobby job.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I needed a job, and so it was.
Did it click for you that basketball's done? This is it. You're done. Like there's nothing now. I'm not. No, there's nothing. But you know what I mean. Like it's
yeah,
over.
I mean, because you could have been a coach too, maybe. Right?
Well,
That's what I thought you were. That's what I thought you were gonna say you were gonna do.
no, and a lot of people ask me why I didn't get into coaching, but and I'll explain. But no, basketball wasn't quite over. I did sneak off and take a job briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I snuck off and used kind of like anyway. But yeah, I snuck off. I snuck off and went and took a quick job that needed someone for a month for $10,000.
Wow.
Okay. Hey. Okay.
And so I kind of acted like I needed to go home and check on my folks to make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
And I snuck. One of my buddies was playing over there. They needed somebody for 1 month, $10,000 to come play, and
Wow.
I get to go hang out with my buddy.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
And so
yeah.
I snuck off and did that and came back.
Hell yeah, I would
Yeah.
too.
Hey. No,
I'd have done a lot less
No
for
foul, no harm.
$10,000
man.
too.
Hey,
Somebody called me to do something for $10,000. No questions asked, boy. I'm on that plane.
yeah. Where's the ticket?
Where's the ticket?
yeah.
Ain't no questions asked. I ain't gonna say a thing.
Yeah.
That is too funny.
But no, that was a great question. No, it was easier, and I was more focused as an adult
Yeah.
versus the younger me.
Yeah, because now you gotta you gotta man up now.
Right.
Like, you're like, well, shit, it's my life now. Like,
Exactly.
And then you got kids involved too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show that anybody thinks that they're too old to, or life has passed you by, you can always go back and do something.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So after you went to school, got your master's. Take us from 2012, right? That's when the 10-year span. What does life look like for you now?
I left Oklahoma City University and branched out with my own nonprofit called First Class Individuals and Life Skills. And so I used to put on basketball clinics and / provide life skills for kids at the basketball clinics that I would do.
I like that.
And so I wanted to do that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a lot of these donations from a lot of people, with this. And so the donations didn't quite happen the way that I wanted them to. And so I'm like, okay, I need to get back on somebody's payroll and get my health and dental insurance back.
Yeah, for sure.
I need my health and dental insurance back. So I winded up going to work at the University of Tulsa as the director of student activities and student government association advisor. And so,
Man.
yeah, that was great.
You're just doing your thing, man.
University of Tulsa was a great experience for me. I was only there for a year. Beautiful campus, man. I loved it over there. I enjoyed my 1 year in Tulsa. And like I said, University of Tulsa is a great institution. But I wanted to make more money for my hard work. So I've been in university administration for so long. I'm like, I want to make more money. And so the University of Guam, which is a U.S. territory. So they post their jobs in the same place that universities here on the mainland post theirs.
Yeah.
Because it's U.S. territory. So I'm looking around, just applying for stuff, trying to see. You got to put a lot of applications out there to see if you can get a couple hits back, just to get interviews.
Right.
You know, and so the University of Guam I had applied for, and they wound up calling me back like 2 months later.
Wow.
I'm driving down the street like, who is this again? Hey, Jonathan, this is President Underwood from the University of Guam. Are you still interested in coming? I'm thinking to myself, I don't even remember applying for that. Right. But I played it off like, yeah, hey, sir, how are you? And so I winded up taking a job at the University of Guam in 2016 as the housing director there.
Cool.
I was cool with the compensation,
Yeah.
the package, everything was great. You know, I'm going to this beautiful tropical island
for
of
sure.
Guam, and it was very nice. So I wound up working there for 3 years.
Wow.
And made some great changes there to their programs and the students' housing situation.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Now, meeting you and hearing about your story, it's all not surprising to me that the successes you've had just because of your drive and your personality. I think your personality is great. What does life look like for you today? So as you can see, we've got the suits and the fabrics and you're very involved with the boys clubs. You've got your nonprofit. What does life look like for you today?
Well, Elm Grove Clothing
Yes.
is...
Tell us about that and how you created that.
Yes.
The name Elm Grove comes from the Elm Grove Projects, which used to be here in Fort Smith, which is where I grew up at, here in Fort Smith, along with a lot of other people here.
Right.
And so I wanted to pay homage to Elm Grove, the neighborhood, the projects, because I have so many memories from there. And so I named my company after. And so being in fashion, I've always been in fashion, so I've traveled all of these places that I was mentioning to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've always been a tall, standout type of guy. So I figured if anybody ever sees me, I need to give them something cool to look at.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if
yeah.
my little tall self is going to walk through, I'm going to give you something cool to look at.
Yeah.
And so I've always been into fashion and dressing and things like that. But throughout my travels around the world, fashion and style is different. And so I'm just checking everybody's vibe out and how they roll and how they do it. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Do you
That's
think we're
fly.
so
Yeah.
far behind in fashion compared to other countries? I've always heard that. Like China and like Japan, like they are so fashion forward
Yeah.
compared to what we are here. Did you
We're,
feel that
we may be behind as far as the dare to.
Dare to. I love that.
The
Okay.
dare
The
to.
dare to. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
We're behind with the dare to. I mean,
I love that. I love that because I see some of this stuff. I'm like, where the hell am I supposed to wear that to Piggly Wiggly? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like people are gonna look at me crazy. I'm like, I would love to. I wouldn't mind. I
Right.
can be pretty bold, but like in my area here, it's like, well, okay, am I supposed to wear this electric
Right.
cowboy? Like, you know, what the hell?
and that's the only difference. Is that, you know,
Yeah.
is wow.
Yeah.
You did that, really? So that's how you feel? You know, I look at them, and so I would go to different countries and see how they were doing it, and it's like, okay. So I would take a little piece from there.
Yeah.
Take a little piece from this country. When I go to Argentina, oh, okay, they do it like this. So take a little
Yeah.
bit from everywhere, and so my dare to grew from traveling around. So it's like,
Right. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it how I feel,
Yeah.
and I don't care if you like it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but that's what fashion is. I mean, that's what style is.
Yeah.
You know, style is an expression of you. You know, and I tell people all the time, I dress daily according to how I feel. My mood determines on what I put on,
Right.
straight up. And so it's an expression of you and how you feel and your mood. And so nobody can change that or take that from you. But Elm Grove Clothing, like I said, I named it after, the projects here in Fort
Like it's
Smith.
brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's great.
And like I said, I wanted to pay homage, and I did that. And so the business of clothing is a big business. There's a lot of competition out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and it's a lot of work to do. And like I said, you have to push your brand, and there's a lot going on. And so there's a lot of nights I don't sleep, you
Yeah.
know, because I'm working on different things and trying to figure out a new technique or a new strategy to try to reach people to get them to buy my product.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I love the most is that you're also taking this, but also giving back to the a lot of times people focus on building a brand, and then when they're up here making money, that's when they branch off to community work or giving. You're doing
I'm
both
doing
at the
it.
same
I'm doing
time.
it at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's hard because you're
Right.
doing a lot of stuff for free and still trying to scrape and build your
Right,
brand. What
right.
does that look like trying to do that both at the same time?
And for you to ask me that is just basically who I am. It's like I can't wait until I feel like I'm a Fortune
You'll never be
500.
there, will you?
Right.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
come on,
No, I'm
man.
not saying you will.
No,
I'm
no, I
saying
know what you
you'll
mean.
never be good at, like, you'll never stop. Like,
No.
your brain will never be like,
No.
I've made it.
No,
You
never
know,
that.
so-
Never.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
make those
And
moves.
so I see a need. It doesn't matter where I'm at in life. I'm a giver. You have two people in life to me, givers and takers. That's just how I look at it. But I'm a giver, and if I see a need, I'm going to help. I'm going to give. You know, if somebody needs these shoes that I have on and they need them,
Yeah.
you can have them because I got some more.
Right.
You know, and so it is tough to do it the way that I'm doing it, but I'm going to continue being me, and I'm going to continue to always help and always continue to give back to other people. Like I said, with Community Suits and Life Skills, I mean, we just started the nonprofit side of what we do, and you know, we're working on sponsorship right now, but we're doing things right now without sponsorship.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes success isn't a dollar sign.
No.
You hear me?
No.
Sometimes
you're
success
absolutely right.
is what you've put in.
You're
Sometimes
right.
success is that one person that you changed their life because you made them a suit and then they got that job
Right.
because they didn't have clothes that they got that job and that changed their whole life. To
Right.
me, that's
winning.
success.
That's winning. That's
You've won.
success. Yeah.
So
That's a
tell us
big
about
win.
this, about your nonprofit that you're building. What does that look like and what have you done with that?
So it's called Community Suits and Life Skills, and what we do is we're going to put professional attire on those in need, especially formerly incarcerated, homeless, low-income, at-risk youth. Our first connection that we just did was with the Youth of the Year of the Oklahoma County Boys and Girls Club. His name is Shiloh Bill, so he just won that, and so he needed something nice because
Yeah.
he had to speak and he had to present in front of a group
Yeah.
of donors, and so we were excited to be able to help that young man and be able to put him in a suit.
Yeah.
And when I first saw him after he put it on, I had to give him a double take, like,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, I wowed my own work, like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
He looked so great.
You
Yeah.
do good
I
work,
mean,
man.
he looked
Yeah,
great.
You do good work.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I
But
appreciate
it's
it.
also probably the confidence. I mean, it's a suit, and the suit's great.
Uh-huh.
But it's who wear the suits that make the suits sometimes. And when you see him have this confidence, and now he's walking up with this, you know, sense of his shoulders up, and this, you know, sense of like, now I got this because of how he feels about himself.
Yes, and that's
You
what he
changed
did.
the game
That's
for
what he
him.
did. I posted some pictures, and I do this all the time. I post pictures. I show people the process.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, last time I was here,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, I show people the process. I mean, you've been through the process.
Yeah, I've been through the process.
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at fabrics. I've taken your
fabrics.
measurements, and you're sitting here right now,
looking
dope.
looking fly.
super fly. Yeah, killing it.
I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like every time I wear a suit, man, like it just makes me feel a certain way. Like you put a suit on, you feel like you just feel like, you know, you're empowered. Like,
Right.
you know, you look good, feel good.
Right. It
I mean,
means
you
something.
could be nothing and wear that suit, and I'd be like, "Who's this? Oh, he got a little something in his pocket. I need to see." But it's true, a suit, man. God,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A suit.
So, what kind of suits are you? Do you like? Are you kind of catering to everything? You know, like weddings or, you know, special events, and or, you know, what is your target? Is it everyone? I mean, music industry. What is that? Because now basketball players, if you've noticed now, that's what a lot of
Yeah.
the posts that you see is their pre-game day outfits, and that's the
Yes.
vibe you give me is like the
Right.
pre-game day swagger,
Yeah.
and that's
Yes.
like I could see
Yeah.
you really branching into that aspect.
and the audience, to me, you know, I've had some friends tell me, well, you should do this. You should start wearing more tennis shoes when you do your photos. So you should do this. No, I should continue doing me.
Yeah, I love
That's what I
that.
should continue doing.
Yeah, I love that.
First of all, but my who I'm targeting is those that understand, first of all, what this is. So I target those. So those are your businessmen that have to wear suits daily
Yes.
and understand what this is. And I also target those that don't know. I'm willing to help you and teach you if you don't know. I mean, I do speaking and workshops all the time to educate kids and youth on what's going on with fashion and style.
Why suits?
It's the ultimate.
It's the ultimate
Suits is the
gentleman
ultimate.
outfit.
Yeah, so
Like
it's the
that.
ultimate.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the top of the tier.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks volumes. I mean, just it's the top. It's the top.
I love that.
You know, so I want to be at the top. I want to look like I'm at the top.
Yeah,
You know, so
right.
that's why Suits. I mean, it just gives you a different feeling, different vibe.
Yeah.
It makes people look at you and view you in a certain way, and respect comes with that as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so
So what's next for you? What's next for Binky and everything that you have going on?
I don't really know. I mean, only he knows.
Right, right.
I can tell you some things that I would like to do. I really would like to, continue educating in a lot of different ways, not only with Suits, but I'd like to continue educating. And I really, really want to get the community Suits and life skills, the community part
I love that.
up and really
I
going.
love that.
That's where my biggest passion is right now, and that's what I really want to build and grow. I want to be able to help as many people as I possibly can,
I love
because
that.
it feels good to do that.
It does.
Yeah.
Like I said, don't take a dollar sign.
Yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
right. Yeah.
Where can everyone find you?
I'm on.
'Cause you don't live here in Fort Smith anymore.
No,
correct?
I'm in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in Oklahoma City. So we have a website, elmgroveclothing.com. And
I seen it too, man. It's dope. I like it.
yeah, we're trying. I need to do some upgrading to that.
And taking care of social media while trying to go.
It's just a lot.
were
It's
just
just
talking
a lot.
about that
It's a lot.
earlier.
It is a lot.
It's a lot going
It's a
on.
lot.
It's a lot going on.
You got to keep up with all the apps, TikTok, Snap. I mean, like my
And
lord.
they're constantly changing.
They are.
And you have to try to keep up with those.
I'm like
Yeah.
that old one was like, what's that mean now? like my grandma was like, what's that mean? I don't know how to do that. And like had to call my daughter. Can you tell me what this means?
And they know.
They know.
And they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
They know. They
Yeah,
do.
kids do know.
Now I'm old school. I'm good with Facebook type stuff. That's
Yeah.
old school, but
I'm good at leaving a business card on a restaurant table. That's
There
how I
you
built
go.
my business when I first started.
business cards.
I left my business card on everywhere I'd go eat. I'd leave it on a table for whoever,
Yeah.
and then I would just randomly place them and word of mouth.
Guerrilla,
You know,
guerrilla marketing.
yeah, that's how it is. And now it's
Guerrilla
like
marketing. Yeah.
now you don't
Yeah.
even really have to be that great. You just have to have good social media
That's it.
presence, and
That's
that
it.
pisses me off so bad. I'm like, oh, the quality is where it's at. You know.
And like I said, like back when you were putting the cards out and doing that, I mean that's boots on the ground. Old
Oh
school
yeah.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
it's a little different now.
Goes back to the restaurant days.
That's right.
I've been waiting tables since I was 5. You know, just
It builds
my mom,
character,
It
though.
does.
It builds character.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it
it builds
does.
character.
And I love that it's come full circle for you. I love that
Thank
the mindset of washing those dishes and riding that bike has now kind of carried over in a different way, and you're still always looking for a way to give back.
Yes.
I love that,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
I hope that as you move forward, that those doors of helping back, and then you will teach people how to help, and then it just kind of trickles.
That's right.
And I hope so. I was always told, this lady always told me, she said, don't worry about changing the world. Just don't worry about that. You're never going to change the world, but what you can do, she said, is if you change one person's life, just one, you have done your job, because that person may go on to change another person who may change 5, and it just kind of
Like a
keeps
domino
going,
effect.
all because you
Yeah.
plant a seed. And I've lived by that, because you know, with people like us, outgoing, we want everyone just to we want to please everyone, we want everyone to love us, but sometimes it's that one person watching that's going to make the difference for us later on.
Right.
And we may not ever see that, but it will start because you planted that
Right.
seed.
And I like what you said. I mean, like when you're high energy, you want everybody to like you. You
Yeah,
want everybody
yeah.
to think you're
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
It's not gonna always be like
No.
that.
No.
Yeah, it's not gonna always be like that.
Before we leave, what is something you want to leave our viewers with? Something you've grown, something you've learned. What is something that you want them to hear from you? Could be anything. I told you I'm gonna put you on the spot today.
Oh man.
Hey, you're quick
Yeah.
with it, so I know I
Yeah.
was gonna.
No,
But
I
what is
mean-
something you want to leave our viewers with?
Stay in your own mind. Stay in your own lane.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself. Don't let anybody discourage you. And believe in a higher power, whatever the higher power is for you.
I like that.
That's
I
pretty
love
much
that
it.
like
too.
it.
I love that.
You can do it.
So you were worth the wait. You were worth the damn wait. I just want to say, I came in here wrapped up in a brace, stitches, my leg
See,
3
you make me
times.
feel bad. You make me feel bad.
3 times. I'm like, damn
You
it.
make me feel bad.
I walked downhill both ways,
I
and
feel
I
bad.
stormed it. No, I'm just kidding.
I
I gave
feel
you a hard
bad.
time.
Shit happens, man.
It
Like,
does, but
I
hey,
feel-
you are
it-
worth the
it
wait. We
does.
knew this was going to be great, and I'm just excited to see you growth and for your family and your support system, and you know, I just think you're great, and
appreciate it.
we're a
Yeah,
big
man.
fan of yours for sure. Which
Thank
you knew that
you.
from the
Yeah,
very
we are.
beginning.
Yes,
and
thank you so much.
Lloyd, always you're the best. You got
I
anything else for
appreciate
us,
it.
I mean,
Big Lloyd, in that pimpin' suit?
I mean, I didn't know. I
Hey.
didn't know.
So-
Lloyd, I didn't
so-
know. I didn't know Lloyd was going to address me today.
I know.
Man. Lloyd done murdered me today, man.
Kind of touch real quick on like what this suit is, the color,
Oh,
and your fabrics, like for the audience.
Okay.
That's a great.
So that's a off burnt orange suit
Okay.
you have on, 2-button suit,
2-button.
with notch lapels, double vented in the back.
Yes.
Yes.
They
like
do
it.
look really comfortable. They do. They look very comfortable.
it's
most
real-
suits look very like.
Yeah, stiff and tight.
No, yours
and-
looks like really comfortable.
and when you do custom suits and custom clothes, you do give up comfortability.
Mm-hmm.
You give up comfort for that look.
Exactly.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
you gotta be in the game to want to wear that stuff.
yeah, no, you look great. You
Yeah,
look great.
thank you, appreciate it.
It's awesome. So
I
if you guys
appreciate it.
need a suit,
Yep.
you want to tap into some community work, or you just want to talk to this guy and, you know, kind of throw some ideas you have around, or whether it's sports or, you know, growth or school or anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I reach out to him. Like I feel like you're always down to
I am.
guide people the
I
best
am.
way that you can, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure, Lloyd, as always.
Yes.
Jay, you're killing it back there behind the scenes.
Hey, what's up, Jay?
Jay over here. And
Hey,
his
Jay gotta get
swagger.
suited and booted next.
Yeah, he's going. Yeah. Oh, I don't think we're ready for that.
Nah.
Hello, Jay.
I gotta get Jay's measurements.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta
love
get Jay's
it.
measurements.
Well, you guys, always, it's a great time to
Always a
be
great
spending
time.
here. It's a beautiful Sunday with you guys. I'm loving everything that we're learning, and just keep pushing people from Fort Smith. You know, there's
Yeah,
so many
yeah.
talented
There's
people, so many incredible
much hidden
people
talent
here.
here, man.
And this is
So
what
much.
this is why we do this. Man.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm
What
proud of you
think?
guys,
Thank
man.
you.
I'm
Thank
very,
you.
very proud of you guys.
Thank you.
This is a great platform.
Thank you. Well,
Appreciate
until
that.
next
Yes,
time, you
sir.
guys, check our episode. We'll drop Sunday. We'll be posting. Be a little bit forgiving because we had a social media breakdown. Lost
Yeah.
damn near everything on our
Yeah,
account. So
yeah.
we're trying to get that back up. But tune in. As always, thank you guys for your
you.
support. Always,
Appreciate it.
always support local, and follow our guy over here. Till next time, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah,
Hey,
bro.
that's good.
Hey, my hands up.
We did it.
You did it, bro. That was
Hey, there you
that was
go.
a good episode.
Today's episode would not be possible without our sponsors. Today's sponsor is Stainless Innovations, Designs and Fabric Custom. It's an equipment for front and back of house food service faculties across America. Headquartered here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. To get in contact with them, 479-783-1900. Stainless Innovations, thank you for sponsoring our podcast for today.